I was on the beach watching them film that scene, and they had ropes tied to her.
It was an amazing rig. They tied an orange U-shaped life preserver around her legs, cabled through a concrete block, 100 yards away or so, and there were guys on the beach running along with the cable, pulling her through the water.
Unless you've experienced this kind of pressure against the water, because the water has terrible pressures, and 6 or 8 people pulling you, so you know the pressure was being put on this person being whipped back and forth in water. It's a wonder she survived it.
For some reason or other, they both went at the same time, and they broke some ribs. And she screamed. And when she screamed, she went underwater. And then she started saying, "Please, God, dear God," like that. And the water was rolling in her mouth, and the word God would come out every once in a while. She was hurting. I mean, absolutely hurting.
I thought she was dying. I was watching it being filmed, and it was so real.
And we went with the one that really hurt her. And that's the one that's in the picture.
Well, it was Stephen's desire to have the movie look as real as possible.
These were my rods or my tackle that was used in the scenes fighting the shark. This was the one that you saw in the movie, and probably the thing that really got you. Well, we're in my backyard. Amongst my souvenirs, this is the fighting chair that was used on the Orca. And there's legs that go on here, so you have a brace. This is a harness Quint used. You put that on, and you hook that right to your reel. That reel goes overboard, you go overboard with it. So you're strapped to the chair. There's quite a lot that holds you. And that chair better be bolted to the deck of the boat, because that's what you depend on.
What? Get behind me. Somewhere along the line, they said that they had a local casting director coming from Texas, and would I help her as a job? And I said, well, I'd love to. Anybody could make an application, and we had them printed up, and we asked that they bring a picture with them. I kind of screened the ones who came in to see if Sherry could consider them for the speaking role. The choice of Lee Fierro was one of the better ones. There's something about living on that island and understanding what having a child in that water can mean. You have this absolute horror of that child not coming back. When you see her coming with her old father dressed in black,
there were people all around, all over this dock. But once I came up to the mark, it seemed as if there was only him and me.
Each time they shot it, she slapped him hard. Maybe there's a skill to slapping somebody and not slapping somebody, but Lee didn't have it. She had tried her so hard that his glasses flew off.
And I came out of character and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
And they hugged each other, and Spielberg came out and got into the hug, too, so there wasn't much left of that shot. I said, "Roy, I'm sorry she's slapping me so hard." He said, "Oh, don't be, Sherry." He said, "It's absolutely worth it."
Hey, Brody.
Yes?
This is State Beach, and the scene where my son Alex was killed, and also that black lab was killed, was filmed right down there, pretty much where that pink and white umbrella is now. Even though I knew that there was a trench dog, and that there was a pipe, and that there was a vacuum, and that there was red dye, and somebody under the water going this way. And yet, it was so realistic that it really made me quite ill.
We made one shot on the beach in which we set a dolly track up from his feet on back towards the water. And what we do is we do a very fast dolly into him without changing size. But what does happen on the lens, the depth of field of the lens changes. As you dolly in, the size of the frame of the person stays the same, but the background appears to go away. Then you get this strange illusion of him floating in space towards you. And that's what created the effect. It amplified his reaction, which was good, as well as put it into some strange psychological place in the mind.
Beyond us is the jetty, and it was on that jetty there that the young girl spotted the shark fin.
Every day you come in from shooting, how's the shark? How's they coming? Did they try it? You know, and they would try it, it'd break down.
Every day the sharks would be tested, and every day the jaw would go, or the eyes would pop out.
That's a much maligned shark, and I'm kind of responsible for creating a lot of the bad mouthing about the shark, because the shark was frustrating. It didn't really work all the time. It didn't work hardly at all.
So we did what we could and worked around the sharks.
Any special questions? Is that $3,000 bounty on the shark in cash or check?
I don't think that's funny.
He was a force of nature. He really was bigger than I could begin to really express.
All know me. Know how I earn a living.
He had large feelings and large moves.
He's the man I wanted to stay away from a lot because I felt he was dangerous. You never knew if he was going to smack you in the head or knock you down or embrace you or what.
Mm-hmm. He was a very dangerous guy in his own way. Wasn't tremendously happy about being an actor. Preferred writing. You know, he's a wonderful writer.
His ups were up and his downs were down. And he intimidated me completely.
Yes, it has, Mr. Cooper. It doesn't money.
Shaw would get Dreyfus and Needling.
There was a kind of sparring that went on. It was both playful and, on my part, desperate.
Rick had some success in the movie, and that Robert just couldn't stand that, and he made Rick's life rather hell for a while.
He knew how to dish it out, so you had to learn how to dish it back.
I think it was absolutely planned. Shaw knew that the attitude between the two of them should be antagonistic, and to get it, he would create it in reality, so the actor wouldn't have to work hard at it. He'd hate his guts anyway.
We'll have to take this abuse much longer. He could be very vicious, and his humor can be very cutting. And then someone would say cut, and we would walk back to his dressing room after he had just humiliated me or tried to. And he would become in private this incredibly sweet, giving, humorous, witty, warm guy.